So what's it really like being a single mum? In today's video, I want to give you my experience and my point of view of what I feel it's like to be a single mum. Now, every single mum, single dad is going to have a different experience and a different point of view. I'm just telling you from my story, from my experience, and how I manage and I deal with all of the things that go on of being a single mum. If you don't know me, my name is Rachel. I'm a solo mum to one, and on this channel I talk everything frugal living, budgeting, mum life, and everything else in between. So if you like that kind of thing, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Now, if you don't know me, it's the first time you come across my channel. I have been a single parent since I was 6 months pregnant. My ex-husband decided when I was 6 months pregnant, didn't want to be married to me anymore, and my marriage ended. 4 weeks after my marriage ended, I also had to close down my dance company because I was about to have a baby, I was about to become a single parent, and all the plans that I had was now just thrown into the gutter, and I had to literally restart my life from scratch. And it's been a bit of a journey. So I won't mention how long I've been a single mum because I don't mention the age of my son or my son's name or really show him on here at all. That's a personal thing, just to be able to keep my son safe from the internet, really. It's just my personal preference, and my ex-husband also wanted to keep our son offline as well for as long as possible. I do talk about him, but I don't mention his name and I don't mention his age. But I have been a single parent for quite some time, basically from the very beginning. I get quite a lot of people saying, oh, I might as well be a single parent because I pretty much do everything by myself anyway. And I can understand that to a degree, but it's very different when you are actually a single parent and you have to take on everything. I don't think some people quite understand it. I mean, I don't know everybody's story, and for some people it might be actually true that maybe it's easier to be a single parent. And if there is any kind of abuse, emotional, mental, physical abuse, then yeah, get out of it and be a single parent because you're going to be better off. But if you feel that like it's just draining, then just really think about it first, because it isn't easy being a single parent. I knew when I was going to be a single parent, there was going to be a lot of stuff that I need to do practically. Like I was going to have to basically take care of the baby all by myself, feed him, change him, bathe him, play with him. Everything was going to be on me. All the practical stuff that mums just need to do, I was going to have to do that all alone. And I was prepared for that. And I was planning for that before my son was born. What I didn't realise was the mental load that comes with it. The fact that you have to do everything by yourself. And if you only have one child like I have, you are also the playtime person and cleaning the house and making sure the washing's done and the food's on the table, making sure the bottles are clean, you've got enough nappies, all the clothes are ironed, making sure that he has enough sensory time and playtime, and you don't get a break. You just do not get a break. It is constant all the time. And even though the practical side was easy, yes, I was physically tired, but it was easy. The mental load of that, of you feeling like you are slowly losing yourself because all you're doing is being mum, that you are no longer Rachel, that took a massive toll on me. And also I was going through court cases when my son was a baby as well. At that point, my ex was trying to get my son. So I was going through lots of court cases. I think it was about 2.5 years of court cases I went through altogether, roughly. And dealing with the court cases, solicitors, being a mum, having the baby. At that point, my ex wasn't seeing our son on a very regular basis. It wasn't for about 6 months in that he actually started seeing our son. Now, I don't want any comments about how could your ex do that. I get on great with my ex. He's a fantastic dad. We've worked really hard to have a co-parenting relationship, and I will always love him and I'll always care for him because he's my son's dad and he is a great man. He just did the right thing the wrong way. That was it. And everybody makes mistakes and everyone does stuff in a stupid way sometimes, but it doesn't matter what he did. What matters is how he is now, and he's a great dad and I can't fault him at all. So before people start commenting on how horrible he is, I just want you to know that he is a great father and he's very caring towards me, I feel. He's very supportive and respectful towards me now, but it wasn't always like that. But I will do another video on the co-parenting story that my ex and I have gone through. If you want to see that video, then do let me know in the comments below. But the mental load of having to do everything, having to make every decision, like you had no one to go to, all the decisions are on you, and you're like, am I making the right decision? At least if there's two of you, you can kind of take, if it goes wrong, you both take that responsibility. But when it's just you and it's all on you and it's all your responsibility, even the smallest decisions can feel like massive decisions and can feel really hard to do. So the mental load of that was not what I was expecting. Now, my son is not a baby anymore. He's at school now, so he's a little bit older. But even when he was a baby, it was the appointments of midwives and dentists and doctors. And I still do all of that now. Like any appointments that he has with dentists or doctors, that falls on me. It doesn't fall on his dad, that falls on me. All the finances, which we'll go into a bit later, all falls on me. Anything to do with the school trips, if he needs anything for school, if he needs t-shirts or outfits for book day or anything like that, it all falls on me. Like, I don't have anybody that I can go to. I mean, my ex is pretty good now. If I need something, I always ask if he's got it. Sometimes he'll go out and buy it. Sometimes more than likely he won't. But you know, he is more helpful now. Wasn't before, but he is more helpful now. But having to keep on top of all of that, as well as keep on top of all your stuff, because you still need to go to the dentist, you still need to go to the doctor, you still need to get your eye appointments done, you still need to take care of yourself. To try and manage all of that on your own and have nobody to help you, nobody to share the burden, nobody to help, I can't take him to this, could you take him? That all goes, it all falls on you. It's only you that's got that responsibility and nobody else. And that is a lot to take on as well. And now I try and run 3 businesses at the moment. And I'm also doing my YouTube, and I'm a mum, and I'm a dog sitter, and I do other work as well, which I don't really go into. And I try and have a life with some friends, and I try and see my family and be there for my family. That's a lot for one person to take on. And the mental load of it is quite overwhelming. It can become very, very overwhelming. Now, if you haven't seen my wellness videos, you would have seen a few months back, I got myself stuck in a massive rut. And I was in a really down place because everything just got too much and it became way too overwhelming for me. But one thing I learned from all of that is how capable I am, how strong I am. And there is a quote, I can't remember it fully. It says, you don't realise how strong you are until you need to be. And when you become a single parent, you don't realise how strong you actually are until you actually have to be strong. And when you become a single parent, you don't have a choice. You have to be strong because you are responsible for little people and they are counting on you and you need to step up. And you don't realise how strong or how capable you are. And the first part of it is really tricky because you're trying to manage it, you're trying to get into new routines, you're trying to deal with your own emotions, which we'll get into in a little bit. But once you kind of get your routine sorted, it does get easier. You realise how capable and how easy things can go as long as no one comes in and messes it up. So that's why I'm single, because I haven't got time for people to come in and mess up my routines right now. But it can become really, really overwhelming at times. And it is a lot of physical load, but it's a lot of a mental and emotional load as well. So one thing a lot of single parents ask is about the financial side of things. And I think this is where when people say they might as well be a single parent, don't realise the financial pressure that puts on you as a single mum. Now, I get child maintenance from my ex-husband and I get a good amount. I won't say how much because that's a personal thing, but my ex-husband has a very good job and therefore I get a good amount of money to take care of my son. Now, that money does not go on my hair or my nails or my makeup or anything like that, because that money is not for me. That money is for our son. So that money is to make sure that food is on the table, that the lights are on, that the place is warm, he's got clothes on his back, and it helps pay for some of his extracurricular activities as well. My ex gives me no extra money apart from the maintenance money that he has every single month. He doesn't give me anything extra. I never ask for anything extra. And then I make sure that the money that he gives me every single month is managed in a way that it takes care of our son the best way possible. My ex does not give me that maintenance money for me to take care of me. It's not for me, it's for our son. Now, anything that I have left over from that maintenance money at the end of the month, some of it goes into the savings pot for my son. So my son has his own savings account, so it will go into that. And then some of it goes into another pot just in case I'm short one month, or my son needs to have something extra for school or extracurricular activity, needs a uniform, or needs to pay for something else. It goes there so that if something comes up that my son needs extra, then I've got that extra money to pay for it. So a lot of people see single mums as when they get paid their maintenance money or whatever money they may get, that money goes, look, she's going to got her hair done again. Look, she's going to get her nails. Oh, look, she's gone shopping and done all that kind of stuff. I don't do that. I'm not that kind of single mum or that stereotypical mum. The money that my ex gives me for our son goes on our son. And then anything that I need, I earn. So that's my money that I earn, that I use. So paying rent for the house, that's me. I obviously pay towards all the bills as well. I use some of the money my ex gives me to pay some of the bills too, because obviously I've got my son, but I also contribute to that. If I need new clothes, need new makeup, if I need stuff for myself, I get that out of my money. That's what I work for. That's why I'm working from 4 o'clock in the morning till 11 o'clock at night, so that I can pay and afford things for me. I can afford holidays and day trips for my son and I. So there is a lot more financial pressure, because if something does go wrong that's not to do with my son, like something goes wrong with my car, that's on me. I've got no one to help me out. Like when you're married, your money's always shared. I've always seen it that way. A lot of people don't do it that way, but I've always seen it that way. Our money is shared. When you're married, your money is shared. So you help each other out. If someone's short one month and you've got the money, you help, and vice versa. But obviously when you don't have that and something goes wrong, you have to find that money, which is why I do emergency funds and sinking funds, and I've got all those videos. I'll link them in the description box below for you. And which is why you have to budget and you have to save, especially as a single parent, because you don't know what's going to come up that's going to go wrong. Now, one thing as well that I've done as a single mum, I don't drink. I haven't drunk for years now. My son was only a toddler was the last time I had a drink, and it's been quite a while now, a good few years that I've had my last drink. So I don't buy any alcohol, which then saves me money. I don't smoke. I tried cigarettes once when I was 14, and my granddad slapped my bum so hard I've never smoked since, and I'm now 42, nearly 43, and I don't smoke. So obviously I don't waste money on cigarettes. I don't waste money on drink. I eat as healthy as possible. I'm very frugal with my grocery bill shopping, as you see on my grocery hauls every single week. I think about every single purchase that I'm making. Do I need it? Do I need it? If I need it, then yes, I'll buy it. If I don't need it and it's a want, I will see how much money I've got left at the end of the month. And if I've got enough money at the end of the month, I will go and buy it. Right now, I want a lot more fitness equipment. Do I need it? No. Do I want it? Yes. Am I going to buy it? Probably, because money's doing well this month. So I'm going to take a little bit out of my savings, because I always save my money at the end of the month for Christmas and birthdays, but I'm going to take a little bit out and I'm going to buy myself some fitness equipment stuff ready for my wellness channel as well. But when you're married or when you've got a partner, you have two incomes coming into the house. So even though there is a cost of living, it's still doable and it's still a little bit easier. But when you haven't got that and you've got one income and you have to manage everything with that one income, it's a struggle. It's a real struggle. And sometimes you're sat there going, oh my God, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? And you always figure it out, because that's what happens. We always figure it out. But the financial strain is really, really hard. So when I was first single and I was pregnant, my ex and I, it was a very bad breakup, very, very bad breakup. And not to put him down or not to moan about him, because as I said, he's a lovely, lovely man, but he didn't give me any help or support when it comes to buying anything for our son. So no clothes, no pram, no Moses basket, no nothing. So I had nothing for my son. So I literally sold everything I possibly could of mine. I literally had barely anything, so that I could afford everything I needed for my son. And that's what I had to do, and that's what I did. And I still do it to this day. I'm still selling stuff just to make a little bit of extra money to be able to support us. But there's always a way of finding and making money when you put your mind to it. But not having two incomes coming into the house, especially when you've got a baby or or a child, however old they may be, that is a big adjustment. And I had to learn how to manage money very, very quickly by learning to budget, learning to track, learning to make money, learning to save money. And this is why one of the reasons I started this channel, just to help people with the things that I've done. If you'd like me to do more videos on how to track, budget, save and make money, do let me know in the comment box below and I'll try and make some more videos for you. But I had to learn quick, real quick, because I had to make money somehow. But let's talk about the emotional side of things. So this is the bit that was really difficult. So I was 6 months pregnant, and if you know a bit more about my story, my nephew was stillborn. And now I was pregnant and I was terrified. And obviously I've just come through quite a traumatic thing of my marriage ending, which then up-levels the entire stress and fear of something going wrong with my pregnancy, which is one of the reasons why I closed my business down, because I just wanted to rest and I wanted to make sure that my baby was safe. Because going through what my brother and his wife had to go through and watching that and experiencing that as an auntie and as a sister was not something I ever wanted to go through. And so yeah, I was really scared. And then obviously getting my marriage ending and adding more stress onto me terrified me even more. Not only that, when you get married, you think you're getting married for life. And I thought that my ex-husband and we had our moments, but I thought we would get through it. And then I had to heal from a breakup, as well as prepare to have a baby and have a life that I never expected that I would ever have. The one thing that I always found the hardest being a single mum is that my son has never experienced a family unit. And that gets me quite a lot, because he never had a mum and dad that's ever been together. I mean, my ex and I get on fantastic now. We get on really well and we do stuff together with our son. So like any school events there is, we're always there together. We're going to Gladiators this year as a family together, but he's never experienced a family unit. He's never experienced dinner with a family. He's never experienced waking up with a family or going to bed with a family. He's never experienced a holiday with a family. He's never experienced it. And that kills me. That's one thing that I've always found really hard. And then when you take your kid out, or especially when my son was a baby and I took him out places, and you would be walking around, just you and him, like we went to a few farm parks, it was just the two of us, and then you see all these little families together, and that felt like a knife was going through you all the time. And it still feels like that now, but not as much. As he's getting older, it just gets a bit easier. And no one knew that I was a single parent. I could have just been like a mum taking her kid out for the day while my husband was at work, you know, because you just don't know. But I knew that I was on my own and I was doing this all by myself, and I never had that family experience with my son. So I had a family experience. My parents didn't get divorced. I was in my 20s. So like I had a childhood where my family were always together, but my son's never experienced it. And that really gets me. Even to this day, I feel like I failed him. Other things when it comes to the emotional side of being a single parent is that you want to do everything right by your child, because you, like I said, you feel like you failed him or her. So you want to try and get everything else right. And the pressure that you're putting on yourself, like no one else is putting that pressure on you, just you're putting it on yourself. That pressure that you put on is really overwhelming, because you just want to get everything right and you want to give them the world, because you haven't given them the life that you thought you were going to give them. So you want to give them everything, and you put so much pressure on yourself, and that can become really overwhelming. And then all mums, whether you're a single mum or not, have that mum guilt. Now, I don't know what it's like to have mum guilt as a married person, because I've never been a married person as a family unit. But the mum guilt you have as a single parent, when you can't do things for your child, when you don't get it right, when you can't give them everything you want to give them, that guilt feels tenfold, because then you start getting angry and feel like, well, if that happened, if we didn't split up, maybe if I did this in a marriage, maybe if I did that in a marriage, maybe we would have still been together, and maybe this wouldn't be happening, and maybe I wouldn't feel this guilt or this pain or this agony that you feel. But you just got to get through it, because it's just a feeling. And really, your kid don't care. Your kid don't care. Your kid just wants to be loved. And as long as you're there and you love your kid, that's all they care about. But I think as mums, especially as single mums, because the life we wanted to give them, the life that we thought we were going to give them, but now it's all changed and it was not their fault, you tend to blame you. You tend to blame yourself. I don't blame my ex. I've never blamed him. Probably did at the beginning, but I never blamed him now. I always take the responsibility on myself. What could I have done different? What do I need to learn? If I get into another relationship, what can I do different? What did I not do right? What did I not see? Why did I not listen to myself? I look at things that way now rather than blame the other person. That pressure that you put on yourself is extremely overwhelming at times. Other things which can be more emotional side of things, just as a human being and as Rachel and not a mum, is it can get extremely lonely at times. I do have friends. Some of them have their own kids and the weekends don't always match. So when they've got their kid, I don't have mine, and vice versa. And, they can't expect them to be free every time I'm free. So sometimes I go out and sometimes people come round and see me, and I go off and I see them, and that's lovely to have. But sometimes every other weekend when I don't have him, it can get very, very lonely. Now, I just keep busy. I work out, I watch a film, eat a tub of ice cream. And just relax and just enjoy life and just do things that I need to do. But there are other times where it can get very lonely. But that's just, there's no one to talk to at the end of the night when you put your kid to bed. There's no one to go off and do things with. And you take your kid to their grandparents' house and you go off for a nice weekend away. You can't do any of that, because mum first. You always have to be mum first. And when you're a single mum and you've got no partner to go and do that with, it can get lonely. And that's just a normal human trait. That's normal. So let's move on to some of the nice, good things. So that's all the sad things and the hard part of being a single mum. But let's move on to the strength that you gain as a single mum. Like, what do you learn? First of all, you become fiercely independent, because you have to learn to do everything yourself. All the stuff that men used to do, you now have to learn to do. Plus do all the other things that you used to do in the house when you were married. So we do very traditional ways, women does all the cooking, the cleaning, the washing, the ironing, all the usual stuff. And then, the men do all the DIY and all of this other bits and pieces as well. And can't really think what else a man does. So, but now you have to learn to do it all. So you become fiercely independent, that when somebody does come into your life, goes, can I do that? It's like, no, good, I got it. Like this, because you've been doing it for so long. You don't need a man to come in and help you out, because you become fiercely independent very, very quickly. You become good at managing money and time and organising everything. Now, one thing that I am really proud of myself, and I'm going to say I'm proud of myself because I am, is the emotional journey that I have been on. So I touched upon the emotional side and the strain that it has, but then I actually spent a lot of time reading books, learning about myself, doing lots of shadow work, dipping into the spirituality kind of spiritual world, and just learning and acknowledging and sitting with myself to learn about me and becoming more emotionally mature. And I'm not completely emotionally mature. I still have my moments. But even with things that happened late last year, I feel like it cracked me open. Didn't just break me, it cracked me open completely. And I feel much more emotionally stronger than I ever have felt before. So I don't feel as my feelings control me, that I control my feelings now. And I'm very aware that when I'm feeling something, I usually sit with it and try and ask myself why I'm feeling that way, what's triggering it, what do I need to do to work through it. I feel more emotionally strong than I ever have felt before. So if you've been watching me for a while, at the end of last year, a couple of people, all within a few days, completely shattered me, broke me, and completely smashed my heart into tiny little pieces. And out of that, I no longer talk to my dad for it. I haven't spoken to my dad for a good 6 months now, and I have no intention to at the moment either. But I feel that when all that happened, I really lent into feeling that pain, and I learned so much more about emotional maturity that I feel more emotionally strong than I ever have felt before. So, and I think as well, the whole journey of being a single parent and having to feel all of those emotions from day one to now has made me emotionally stronger than I feel like I ever have been. But it takes a journey. It doesn't take, we split up and then we're going to act like this and everything's going to be fine, because it doesn't work like that. It just doesn't. It takes a long time. It's a massive journey to get more emotionally strong. But I'm very grateful that I went through that journey, because now I do feel the most emotionally strong I've ever felt before in my life. So I feel good about that. And finally, the good parts of being a single mum. The bond I have with my son is unbelievable. We belly laugh, like not just like laugh a little bit. We literally belly laugh and tears rolling down our face laughing. I laugh so much with my son. He makes me laugh. I make him laugh. It's the best thing in the world. And I think if I was still married, I don't think my bond would have been as strong as it is with him. So that is one massive pro that I have with being a single mum. The bond I have with my child is, at the moment, feels unbreakable. As he gets older and into the teenagers, we might have a different discussion. But right now, that bond is beautiful and strong and amazing, and he is the best child in the world for me. I get to create my own routines. I get to do whatever I want to do without having to consider anybody else but my child. So that's a good pro of being a single parent. When my son isn't here, I can watch what I want on TV. I take control of the remote control. I don't have to consider anybody else in my life whatsoever. It's all about what I want, and it's all about me. And I can create all the routines I want with my son without anybody else disrupting it. Another good thing about being a single mum is I do get that free time. So a lot of parents, they don't get that free time because obviously they're with their partner. Unless you have relatives or close friends that can take your child for a night, you don't often get that much of a break. Being a single parent, every other weekend, I do get a break. Now, I also understand that there are other single parents that the dad or the mum is not involved in their life at all, so you don't get a break. And I feel for you, I really do, because having that break every other weekend is very helpful for me and my own self-worth and my own peace of mind. But I also understand I've got a really good friend of mine that I've known pretty much my entire life that she doesn't have a break whatsoever. She's got 3 kids and she doesn't get a break whatsoever because her dad's not involved in her life, and I can see how tiresome that is for her. So for me personally, that's a bonus for me. I do get that little bit of a break. It can be lonely, but it can also be really good for me to have that rest and recovery. You also learn to be really proud of yourself for how far you've come. When you actually sit back and look back on day one, like the very first day that I became a single parent, getting in the car, screaming and crying as I drove to my mum's house because I was asked to leave the home, and terrified, to where I am now. It's not perfect, but it's a massive journey. And from where I was to where I am, I'm really super proud of myself and what I've achieved and how I've done it and how I've healed and become a co-parent with my ex-husband and the relationship that we have now. I would never have dreamt that this would happen on day one. So I'm really proud of myself, and I'm proud of my ex-husband, and I'm proud of my son for the journey that we all took together. And another reason why I love being a single parent is because if you're married and your husband or your wife annoys you, you still got to live with them. But with me, if my ex-husband annoys me, I can just shut my front door and just leave him on the other side. I ain't got to worry about him. I can just shut the door and ignore him and just like take a break. So that's a pro. That's a good reason. And then the final good reason is that I get to build the life that I want to build. I get to build the life with my son that I want to have with him without having to consider anybody else. It's our life on my time, it's our life, and I can build my life anywhere I want. And that's a good thing as well. So that is my story of being a single mum and the pros and cons of it, really. But everybody has a different point of view. Everybody has a different experience. So I would love to know what you think, whether you agree with me or you don't agree with me. And whichever way it is, that's fine. We can all have our own opinions. And if any of this resonated with you, then do let me know in the comment box below. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you did like today's video, don't forget to hit like, and as always, don't forget to share it with another single parent because they might resonate with it too, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future videos from me. I hope whenever you're watching this, you are having a good morning, good day, good evening, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye guys.